a special meeting for the city of Vernon on November the 7th, 2022 at 5:30 to order. Chad, the pledge, please.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to be here. We ask you, Lord, that you would just keep your hands upon us as we have this meeting and as we leave. In your name we pray.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, if you will, add number 3 as Christmas parade and Santa Claus on the agenda. Number 1, a motion to terminate Tim Rader.
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion?
What's the effective date?
Right now.
Next.
What was,
She want to go the effective date.
when was he sent?
The date of the letter,
26.
26th.
was
okay,
the day that they
and,
have.
Jason probably wants to ask y'all about some things.
So he's not going to resign. So on the 26th, when this happened, I did put him, I wanted to make sure I'd done this right. So I got with Candace, we went over the policy. So I went to the store the next morning to meet the manager and watched enough video to confirm it. And then I put him on suspension without pay, which would be, I guess, the next day, the 27th. And then he refused. I talked to him today. He told him we were having a meeting. He said he was not going to resign. He wanted, he had to be fired, and because he wanted his vacation pay. So I told him, okay.
That's the only reason you wouldn't quit?
Under the circumstances, I don't think you're, what does it say? I don't think you're eligible.
I wanted to do it the right way because this was kind of touchy, so I want to make sure we done this right.
I don't think you're eligible under the circumstances.
How long has he been employed?
Over a year.
Over a year?
He's been here over a year.
Yeah.
Oh, within. But you never saw that before, did you?
We have in,
Yeah.
we have in the past, a terminated employee given vacation, but it's been up to us, as far as I know, on whether we do or not. My concern isn't, and he didn't say it, and I hate to even have to discuss this in a meeting. I wish it could have been handled differently. I would assume the reason that he wouldn't, if it were me, and I would rather something go public than this would be if he filed an employment. It's my thinking, I may be wrong on that, but I would suspect that he's probably gonna file an employment.
Well, who did it?
Yeah.
Did you?
So I don't know how council wants, if they want to give him his vacation or not. I'll go along with the rest of you on this.
Yes, no, I can call it. Special meeting.
So y'all just wanna know if he's eligible for the vacation pay?
First of all, how much is it, you know?
I think it's around a week's
A
worth.
week. It used to be 2 weeks, I think. And then, I know it's 2 weeks after so many years.
So Jason, he's earned his vacation pay though, right?
I mean, he's been here longer than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's entitled to that.
I mean, it's up to y'all on that one. That's a little different. I mean,
But under the circumstances that we terminated him,
we have not paid one employee, and we paid other ones too, so.
Yeah, as far as I know, Michelle, is there any, I didn't see anything, is there anything specific in the personnel policy about a situation like this?
I'm looking in, this section, it says that voluntarily terminated employees who successfully work out their 2 week notice will receive lump sum of their annual leave balance up to 240 hours.
You don't have no, he's out, I think he's got maybe 20 hours sick leave, maybe.
Well, he wouldn't get
With the
sick
sick leave
leave
is
anymore.
out.
I think that's all he has right now, besides this vacation, which I think is a week.
So I don't see where he would be entitled to annual leave.
And we don't have to back pay him to the 26th either, do we? Because of the situation.
Yeah,
He was sent
I
home without
suspended him,
pay.
I put him on suspension without pay. That was the only thing I could do.
Huh?
Is he still trying to deny
Did
it?
he,
He's not denying it.
Oh, my.
was he truck, didn't he put a dent in the truck previous?
Did what now?
Didn't he put a dent in the truck,
Scratch.
previous and paint over?
He ran into, there's a wood pile back there behind the plant, and then he scratched it there. But,
I turned it over coming out of Miss Williams' driveway.
yeah, well.
He almost hit me, that was early on.
That was bad, guys, that was very bad. DOT tractor and everything turned
Okay.
over by my house.
So, we have a motion and a second on the termination, and the discussion is with or without vacation.
Without, well, you have to put it to a vote.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Now, he has a city phone and city keys.
Contact him and ask him to return those as soon as possible.
Okay.
And we'll go with that.
Well, you might wanna get those first.
Well,
If you don't, we'll call the
Just let him know he needs to get them back. Come on.
I told him I'd call him as soon as this was done and let him know.
But council wishes, if you don't turn them in, I'll call the sheriff.
It's too bad, because this goes on his record to get it.
We tried to, I was nervous about telling him stuff, because I wanted to make sure I didn't break no rules, no laws, or nothing, so
You don't do
I was
that.
adamant.
Yeah, you did what you could, yeah.
Yeah, I tried. All I could do.
Thank you. Just notify him, please.
All right.
Jason, I have his last pay stub here to give you, if when he comes and turns in his phone.
Okay.
Number 2, vote to approve grant for fire department.
I can touch on that,
Let's get a second.
I second.
Discussion. Go ahead, Candy.
sorry. Shaq got a grant for the fire department, so proud of him for that. It is for $45,399.15, which is the exact quote amount of the, equipment that he needed.
Air packs, I think, is it?
Yes, and so the reason we had to do it tonight is because there's only a 30-day time period to get it signed and get it back to them. Michelle's already reviewed it, as far as y'all don't have to do a resolution or anything like that. It does look like that it is a reimbursement grant, but, I mean, as long as you all approve that, just to let you know ahead of time, so we'll pay for it and then they'll pay us back.
Yeah, as long as we don't go over the amount. And it's, Candace said it's the exact amount that he needs.
It is the exact amount. He sent the quote from, 10-9 or 10-8, 10-8. He sent the quote and it's the exact one.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 3, Christmas parade of Santa Claus. We need to set a date, so, we can get started, and so Candace can, get it approved for the parade route in time.
Well, we have it,
Typically, it's on the second Saturday, is it?
yeah, we have the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th before Christmas. It's usually the second Saturday, I think.
Yeah, cause there's signs that just say the second Saturday of,
Okay.
Because we decided to stop putting dates because we have to keep changing signs.
So that'll be December the 10th?
Yes.
Is everybody agreeable with that? Okay, what about city square. There's been some, discussion that maybe there were more children came to see him when it was at the square. I don't know. All I can think of is for last year here. We had the bazaar and it was very small group came. Out of the 200 candy bags, there was 125 passed out and the rest of them were sent to the fire department for the parade that they handed out. So, I don't know what it was like the year before when it was at the square.
It wasn't at the square the year before,
Okay, it wasn't?
it was here.
So, I mean,
Well, it might have been, no, because that was 2020 and that was COVID, because
So
I
we
got
didn't do
it
it.
that weekend after I loved on all the babies.
We didn't do it because of COVID.
So, yeah, the construction, and there wasn't a lot of turnout from at the bazaar, and most people said if it had been on the square, people would stop because they would see it.
The only problem we have with that, you know, we did it a couple of years on this square, but the only problem is the parking. And we looked at Carolyn Cook, you know, the president of we looked at doing it at Shady Grove, because it's on the highway. And maybe, because when we did that sportsplex, it just didn't do anything. And a lot of the vendors complained because they didn't make any money.
Yeah.
So, and that's a bigger area. And we also discussed not having them sell what they want. You know what I'm saying? Because we were saying only new stuff, but some of the sisters felt left out. You know, they had stuff they want to sell. So whatever they want to sell, if they want to come out there and vendor, whatever they want to sell, that I think we do better if we just let them sell, because that's a big area and they can really spread out. So
Is there a fee?
yeah, they can.
But I mean, is it set or?
No, it's not set
Okay.
fee yet. Let's wait on that. What do you think, Becky?
okay, I've kind of jumped ahead of myself here.
Let's get,
Settled on, a motion to approve the Christmas parade
in the route.
and Santa to follow on December 10th. What time? And are we doing the bazaar? We need to approve a motion and then discuss it before we vote on
It was nice to do that parade at dark though, because everybody had lights on their floats. It was a lot of fun.
I make a motion to approve the Christmas parade.
On December 10th.
Yeah.
Second, discussion, okay. Are we talking about doing the Christmas bazaar as well?
At the same time.
What does council want to do on it? I mean, somebody's gonna have to head it up.
Just input, rec board has a meeting Friday. I can lean on them to see if we can try to encourage more vendors or come up with ideas if y'all wanted to get that input too as well.
Okay, so we can pass it, Michelle, as it stands. We're having all of it and then if the bazaar doesn't, we can't pull it off then.
But see, the only thing is, at that point, we're gonna be far away from the parade route. At Shady Grove, unless we do it on the square.
Yeah, I don't know that we're gonna, that Shady Grove is shut this year to do it
That's what I'm
there.
saying.
So either we have it here or we have
On the
it
square,
on the square.
but there's no parking on that square. That's what we ran into before.
So have it on the square?
Track.
I think you'll have a better turnout on the square regardless of the parking.
Oh,
I
it
think
is,
people
but
are
see, the only thing is, now it becomes a dangerous situation. 'Cause that
It's
road-
dangerous everywhere.
I know, but
We need to request a deputy down here. for
because that's a
traffic.
road, that's a bad road, it's
Get a
bad.
deputy to sort of help it direct.
Yeah, we have to pay them
That's all right.
though.
People will come usually
They need
2
to
hours
use that
before
road.
parade and line up the streets, so they would probably walk down to the bazaar to give them something to do.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
know, I heard mixed reviews on the nighttime thing. A lot of people liked it. Other people didn't like it because our main street's not lit up enough. So it's up to you all as to what time we have it, but we need to figure out the times on the Christmas bazaar if we're able to have it. So
Cause
they'll
we used to
something
have that
going.
bazaar like from 9 to like, I think 3 or something like that, and then the parade started. And so then the children came back, that's where Santa Claus was, he was on the square. So the children would go over there then.
So more discussion before this is finalized. Do we want to set, Ms. Quinn, you said the bazaar, if it happens between 10 and 2,
Yeah,
line up for the
something like-
parade at 2 and have the parade at 3, is that agreeable with everybody?
Because they gave the parents, those people time to clean up the stuff and go, and be ready for the parade. So the parade always started at.
The 5 or 6 vendors that were here last year, the 5 or 6 vendors that were here last year got skunked. They didn't sell a thing.
Well, that was another
Because it's not
issue with
that-
having it here, but, I mean.
And that's on them. I'm just suggesting though that
The
Because I
one
know
thing that
we
you're
had
gonna
it-
have to do is to, if you're gonna have something that's gonna be successful, is to continue to have it at the same place every year. You don't have it at the same place every year, then everybody's gonna be confused and they're gonna be, well, they don't know what they wanna do, so why would anybody else wanna participate in it? So you're gonna have to have some structure somewhere where either you make a determination from this day forward, we're gonna have it on the second Saturday of December at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever day that it's gonna be, and you're gonna have to do that every single year. But if you don't, and we keep doing this right here, no different than the 4th of July thing, what's gonna happen eventually is nobody's gonna want to come. You gotta have some structure somewhere.
Well, we stopped the square because of the road, the construction. That's why, and like I said,
Lighting is an issue, a big issue in this town.
well, no, but that was during, the bazaar was during the daytime. But we didn't have, I mean, with the construction and,
Let me ask you this, Ms. Winnie, would the parade be more successful if you had it at noon and then everything dropped back down to,
The bazaar?
the bazaar and the Santa Claus set up at the same time at the square, instead of having the bazaar, then the parade, and then you've already got the parade crowd there that's gonna transfer down, and maybe it'll help somebody sell something.
That's smart.
It used to be
That's a good idea.
Santa on Highway 79 at the old City Hall. He used to be driven by the fire department after the parade to City Hall to see the children. They saw him in the parade and then they all came to the designated area to see him. That's the way it used to be.
well, that's how it is now.
No, now it's, you see,
Huh?
they picked him up for the parade last year.
They had it before the parade.
They saw him before the parade last year because
It's
the parade
always
was.
been after the parade.
Yeah, but last year the parade was at dark. Okay, so with Chad's suggestion, would it be better to postpone the Christmas bazaar until we can get it set up to have it?
I don't think
At
we should have it
Shady
this
Grove?
year.
Or, I mean, what is council's ideas on this? Cause, you know, March is coming up and I would like to see, before the election time, I would like to see some things finalized. You know, there's a lot of seats up. And, you know,
So if you just had the bazaar over at the square and then put parking signs and they could park here and just walk around and then they had the light to cross that and everything, wouldn't that be convenient for most of those people? And you had Santa Claus in the square and everything?
I'd give vendors the opportunity to sell stuff while people are lining up to see the parade,
Yeah.
have the parade, and then Santa Claus
that's what they
after,
had
and that whole
before.
time vendors are sitting there trying to sell
That's
stuff.
what they did before. They had the people, they was at the square already setting up. You know, had their stuff set up and people did buy. And then before the parade, I think at 2 o'clock it was over and that,
well, there were vendors at the homecoming parade too, I saw.
that's all.
Did you
Along
hear whether or
Highway
not they
79.
Did they do good?
I don't know, there was a line
Yeah.
at the corner, so.
They were selling food.
Yeah.
There's at least 3 different places that were selling food, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, without dragging it out, come on y'all, what do you wanna do?
I think Chad had the best idea.
The parade at 12. Santa Claus, what time does the parade usually last? An hour, hour and a half, y'all?
No.
15 minutes?
Last about
15, 20 minutes?
15 minutes.
A half hour at the most?
Parade time. Would you say parade at 12? Okay.
12:45.
Santa at-
12:45 Santa, and by 1 o'clock, it's probably over.
So when you gonna put the,
Let's do
So what
Santa,
time are
let's
we
do
going?
Santa at 1 to give everybody time to
yes,
get, let's do Santa at 1. Where are we doing Santa at?
in the square.
And we're gonna postpone the Christmas bazaar until, or are we having it?
What time was Santa? 1? How long is Santa gonna be there? An hour? 2 hours?
If, just a thought, if rec set up food on the square to sell, and the parade's at 12, people are gonna be hungry, and people usually come an hour to an hour, hour and a half or so before, it might give y'all, I don't know, just a thought.
Cause they come to stake out a place to stand,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, they show up about an hour before the parade. A lot of people do.
I think there's a chance that you could make some pretty good money. Cause the guy that was set up over here by Dee's, by that old gas station, he had cars out there long after the parade was over.
We stayed out there late that night.
Okay, and lineup's gonna be the same as always. So that leaves your ideas on the bazaar, everybody? Yes, no?
Yes,
What?
And where's it gonna be? At the
the
square?
square.
Okay, if we can pull that off, you can talk to your people about that.
Go to about like 10 to 3 or something like that.
Yeah, in between this, and we'll let them know, well, they'll know the break time. So, bazaar probably 10 to 3.
So what are you gonna sell at Timothy? You have to have some kind of, what are you gonna sell at the bazaar? Can you just sell anything? Because you're not gonna have the room. See, that's why when we had it, it was just crafts and new stuff. You had to have crafts that you made, or new stuff. Because you're not gonna have space if you can just sell anything. You don't have the space, because you gotta give everybody at least 8 feet of space to set up, at least.
But if you're charging, won't they keep it minimum?
No, because if I feel I can sell myself, I'll pay you $20 or $25 for the charge.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter, they will pay that. We sell, they gonna pay it. But I'm just saying, to do that, that's why we had to put a cap on it, and I might have one of the old flyers on my house, I'll look at the box and see. But that's what,
So I talked to them about getting out there and mapping out spots.
Yeah,
And then if
most,
we wanna do food, then we'll
most
lock down
10 for
food.
10 by 10.
10 by 10. We'll just break it up and create a plan there and figure out
you
how many
ain't gonna
spots
have
we
that
got.
many spaces there now, remember that.
Okay,
That
well,
big
let's-
white thing, what is that thing? It's on
Well,
the
a
square.
tent is a 10 by 10, so if you
What
can
is that
pop
big
up
thing
tent, that's
on
your
the square?
space area.
That big white thing, what is that?
Taking samples.
Something, cause that takes up space on that square. It's a big thing there.
I think we could do two food vendors and maybe 8 crafts.
That's it. Cause there ain't gonna be enough
That'd
room.
be,
And then rec.
whatever y'all have.
Okay, so let's
Let's
set it this, are we all in agreement,
Yes.
before I call for a vote, to have the parade at 12, Santa Claus directly after, bazaar from 10 to 3, all at the square, lineup is the same, and you'll take that information and you can come back to us at the regular meeting. You'll know by then, won't you?
Yes, ma'am.
You said you had a meeting, so.
Yeah, it'll be this
Is
Friday.
that agreeable with everybody?
Yes.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Do I have a motion to,
What time was the parade again? I just did.
12?
12 noon?
Yes, ma'am.
Santa, right after the parade.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the special meeting and move forward with the workshop?
I'll make a motion to.
Second? All in favor? Special meeting adjourned, and we open the workshop in the city of Vernon, 11/7/2022 at 6 o'clock. concerns with her name. Was there anybody else here that had anything that they wanted to say about that? 'Cause I was under that assumption there were several calls.
3 parents called at different times and said they wanted to be at the at the next meeting. I told them the workshop, 5:30
Okay.
today.
All right, we'll move on to number 2 then, 'cause she's not here. McDaniel Associates Audit Contract Review.
They would like a start date, if y'all approve them, I know you can't approve them tonight, but they want a start date of December 5th. They did it last year, and Josh is the one that headed it up last year. And Lee said that, that Josh was the one that headed it up and will be doing it this year.
Does anybody have any discussion on that? If not, we just need to move it to the regular meeting for a vote. Ms. Michelle, you had a chance to review that? Everything looking in order? Okay. Put it on, the agenda for our next regular meeting. Number 3, consent order update, Mr. Long. Hello.
How are y'all doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good. So the mayor asked me to give y'all kind of an update on consent order. Last time we were here, we talked about options between paying the consent order as it is, or kind of an in-kind project. Done a little more digging and discussion since then. I think tonight we need to make some decision on which way we want to proceed. Our first hard deadline is coming up on Saturday. It's the day, that's why it's on Saturday, it's based on what day you signed it. But so Saturday, November 12th, the city either needs to pay the consent order amount or tell the state that you plan to do a in-kind project. So if you plan to do an in-kind project, you don't have to have that project fully planned yet. You have another month to fully plan it. You just need to tell the state that that's your plan, how you're gonna go forward. So what Mayor Jason and I have been talking about is a sewer project to do, rehab a couple of sewer manholes with, it's called an inflow dish, which is a little dish that fits right under the lid. The manhole's in the ditch, and the ditch fills up with water. The dish fills up with water inside the manhole instead of the whole manhole filling up. So it helps control how much inflow you have into your system. And then we also talked about coating some manholes, and Jason and I were talking about potentially coating some lift stations, just old manholes. So, lift stations.
Is that stuff that did they approve?
Verbally, they approved. They had, what I was told by the representative of the state was that would be a project that they would normally approve. So the way this works is you say, I tell them by Saturday, or the city tells them by Saturday that you want to do an in-kind project. I would say generally this is where our in-kind project is going to be. Then 30 days later, which is December 12th, we have to have that project fully planned. They would then review what we submit to them and say yea or nay at that point. If they said no and had comments, we could address those comments and still possibly get it approved. If they said no, absolutely not, period, end of the story, then you just pay the fine at that point and move on.
That was my next question.
Yeah. My question is, we do this in-kind project, it's gonna be, we have to spend $18,000
Yes, ma'am.
instead of the 12.
So the magic numbers are $12,250 if you pay it straight away, $18,385 if you do an in-kind project, which is 1.5 times that number. You've already paid the $500 administrative fee that was due last week, I think. He's paid that, so.
Okay, my other question, if we do this in-kind project, what y'all were talking about doing, what are the man hours gonna be on this extra to us? Do you have any clue?
Well, some of the stuff Jason can do, I would assume. The inflow dishes, you just pop the lid, pop the inflow dish and move on and put the lid back on. Those are pretty easy. The coating of the manhole and lift station, we'd have to hire a contractor to do that.
So that's gonna be
More
more.
money.
You're not gonna hit exactly 18,000. I think we could work this thing to get as close to $18,000 as possible.
That's with the contractor included?
So what I was told by a contractor is a manhole coated is about between $4,200 for a manhole that's 0 to 6 feet deep, standard manhole. and then another $350 for any foot above that depth. So if you got a 10-foot manhole, it'd be about, $8,000 or so. So depending on which manholes we select, we can then review them, see how bad they are, and kind of work around that number. I'm thinking probably with the inflow dishes that we've talked about so far, you probably need to do 2, 3, maybe 4 manholes. Lift station, of course, is a bigger diameter. It would be probably more expensive than that too. We may be able to do 1 manhole and 1 lift station. There's kind of a laundry list of way to do it. The other issue you have, based on your purchasing policy, would be how you would have to do that. I would assume that you would have to advertise for that. And then we have to basically draw up a simple map that shows where each of these manholes, lift stations, whatever are. And then here's the specification required to be done, give the information on the manhole, and then put that out on the street so you get prices.
Are they gonna give us the specs on what has to be done?
I can handle that for you.
You can handle that for it?
Yes. Right now, I'm under contract to help you manage the consent order. Assuming, we go forward, of course, if you if you vote tonight to pay the fine tomorrow, then, I'll be done. But I think what I told the mayor in my proposal was that I figured it'd be about $5,000 of my time to do this. And based on what we're talking about here, I think that's still probably pretty accurate for my time. And that would not come out of your 18,000. That would have to be on top of it.
So we're gonna be around 25.
Yeah. We need to make a choice whether that's stopping all that inflow is worth it or if we're getting our money's worth. I'll give you my opinion. I think we're getting our money's worth if we do it. I know we're spending extra money, but this inflow will stop us. Stuff that's not going to the treatment plant, we're not having to treat it, which is an expense. I can't tell you how much inflow's coming. So that's hard to do. You can go up there and look at these lift stations, when it's raining, you can look and see, a lot of times you'll see it pouring in them. And you look at these manholes, you got 2 finger holes in them. I don't know how many we've got in the ditch, but there, when the ditches are full, running the water, pouring in, goes to the sewer plant. It's probably a long-term recovery to make it worth your money.
The other option you got too is you can also mix and match. You do some of it as in-kind and some of it as cash to pay the difference out. I assume you'd still have to do the full 18,000 since you're doing some in-kind, but if you did 1 manhole and 25 inflow dishes and it cost you 16,000 to do, you could pay the other 23,885 in cash.
Well, I won't give my opinion now. Not trying to get in your pocket or anything like that, but as far as I'm concerned, we should pay the 12,000, whatever it is.
Be done with it.
Be done with it, because if we're going, right now,
It's just piling up more money.
I mean, we don't have that money to spend, other than probably the 12. When it comes down to it, I just don't think it's gonna benefit enough, even in long term, to take care of it. I mean, somewhere along the line, we've got to be able to regulate or know, Jason, or Jimmy, either one, how much water is coming into the system that it normally doesn't, as far as rainwater. There's a way of doing that?
Well, you can look at past flows. I mean, your average daily flow right now is 33,000. I've seen it over 100 and run that way a while. So, I mean, there's no exact, but you can, I'm having 17 years worth of flow data for every month. You can look at it to see the trends, and then, you put the last sewer project y'all done was the only sewer project I ever seen some type of a reduction.
get, gallon for gallon, you can just look at a trend. I mean, we ain't getting on any water right now, but we had that rain, groundwater's down. But yes, you have a severe, not issue.
So I don't think it's gonna benefit the city enough to do that, spend the extra money to do that. That's just my opinion.
But it's $12,000 out of our pocket no matter what, and you don't get anything to show for it, or another $6,000.
Another 11.
Yeah,
Another
nearly
$11.
done, nearly done.
11 for another 11, but you,
No. Sorry. I know we can't vote.
Well, my thing is,
No,
why
and
we
here's
keep
the
hearing and hawing about it? Why can't we just get it over with the 12?
Well, here's the thing, and I talked to Candace about this the other
Well, I'm
day.
just saying.
I may
I
have
know.
dropped the ball on this, or I don't remember if we couldn't get it reached. Mr. Long, this was something that was supposed to have been voted on tonight, wasn't it? We discussed it.
Well, if y'all were voting tonight, it would have needed to be on the meeting.
Yeah, I know, that, and we talked about this the other day, but.
And I talked to Dale this morning about it, but I talked to Gary, Friday afternoon, and he said that Dale was coming tonight.
Okay, so we're in a situation now that we can't vote on it. Correct.
The other option you got is you can request an extension. So, I mean, if that's the case and you can't vote on it until you have your next meeting, we can submit an extension to the day after that next meeting. You'll be fine in that respect.
Yeah, and I spoke to Candace on Friday, which is the way that I read it. We needed to have voted on it tonight because, of the deadline. And we're not gonna meet that, and we couldn't call another special meeting now in time to get it voted on.
Well, did y'all already vote to do an in-kind project? No?
No, we voted to
I think at the last meeting, we
look into it.
voted to sign that consent order, and that was about it.
To pay that $500,
So
right?
if we don't vote to do
And again, I wouldn't sweat the Saturday, you can get an extension, they're not gonna crack down on you for that, as long as the extension's turned in, and I can do that tomorrow.
Becky, just, if you don't vote to do an in-kind project, then it's just a bill that is to be paid, and you don't have to vote tonight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
Okay.
sense. If we don't do anything tonight, then we just pay the bill.
That's the issue.
But Friday's a holiday, so let's do Saturday, Friday's a holiday, Thursday's the last day we can do anything to it.
if everybody kind of agrees with what Chad says, then we just let it go, we pay the bill, right? And that's it, we don't have to,
We're gonna go ahead and pay the bill.
Is everybody agreeable with that? No, we can agree on it, we can't vote on it.
We can just agree, we can't vote.
So, okay.
Dale's gonna talk about the, street out here too,
So,
one or two.
the other thing the mayor asked me to talk about was Yellow Jacket. You got $110,149 to do that job. When I estimated that previously, it's been a couple of years now, I think, I estimated at about $70,000 to resurface that, rebuild it. And maybe low at this point. I think the mayor believes, and I think he's probably correct, that we could get some more money out of the state to deal, cover any shortfall. The way I would see this working is, when you go and get the bids in, then you'll know exactly how much it's gonna cost. Before the bids go in, I can reevaluate the cost again, once I have better numbers. And, if we need to, we can go ahead and kind of lay the groundwork at the state at that point and say, hey, we're gonna come up short and a little more money. But of that 110, you can pay for construction, you can pay for all the engineering fees, both mine now and then in the future, you're gonna have to hire a separate consultant to do the inspection during construction. The way DOT require two separate consultants. You may or may not have to go through an RFQ process to get that consultant, but I figure we'll discuss that and cross that bridge when we get to it. there's, Michelle and I have to talk about some of the paperwork stuff, clear that up, but I mean, we're pretty much ready to start on it. It's a pretty straightforward job. The longest lead time is really getting the geotech out and putting a couple holes in the ground to tell us, you know, how to repair the road back up. But, you know, now we're ready to go on that.
Then when was the start date on that?
The start date's, it has already occurred, I guess the date that the contract was signed. I think you have almost a year to complete it, so I don't expect it to take more than 60 days.
So again, we don't need to procrastinate, we need to go ahead and get something moving.
Correct. And y'all have, y'all turned me loose, I'm moving on it, it's moving.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything else for Mr. Long?
This is a Scot-free agreement, which means if everything's over bid, we have the right to go back to the state.
Good.
None of your CDBGs have that, this is the only one that has it.
That's it.
All right.
That's it, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Long.
you, Dale.
Number 4, Jimmy quotes for plant repair.
Let you know what, as far as that, inspection we had the other day, they've seen, and they wrote us up on a few things. Some of the things that we have done is the chlorine alarm's been taken care of. Don't have an invoice for that yet, but it's all been done. The belt press, assuming y'all did approve that, they should be out this week to fix that. And that's $3,285.
This is what was discussed the other day, and that there's not been a meeting to approve it.
That is the one that,
That's the one that,
that's the one that Jimmy called about it because it was broken and they didn't have, that was the last one, and I spoke to Gary about it.
Only one that's in the country left.
They was fixing to go overseas and they called me,
Yeah.
and so I called the city,
Yeah,
because it was probably been 3 to 6 months.
so this invoice is owed.
Well,
yes,
they're
it will
not
be,
done
it's not a
work yet.
quote now, I wrote on there.
I see.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
ordered.
Yes, and they will be here this week to fix that, last I heard. Let me break this down into 2 parts. Okay, as far as the inspection goes, we need to, get the one filter that is, not operational at the time repaired as part of that, and that costs, we have a lot of new parts for it. This is the last part that I know of that is bad, and I have a price for it right here, so it's $3,432 to rebuild it completely. People came, evaluated it, and that's the price I got, and they actually still have the phone. But they haven't been there.
So none of this right here that we have, is what that number that you just give us.
The top one's the 3285, the belt one, so that's gonna have to be paid.
The belt press,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the one that should be here this week.
Yeah,
So the one you're
but he's
asking for now,
asking, these other 3 that he's talking about.
Nah, yeah, I think that's gonna confuse you and me, so if y'all just don't read that right now,
Okay, thank you.
y'all got near about everything that I've got here, but I've got a few more.
That's what I was saying.
I've actually priced and got the cheapest price I could possibly get on what items I could, like the belt press, it's a sole source. You can't do anybody else with that. You actually have to go back to Airmont to get that, so there's no use in getting another price, because nobody will get it.
But you have that coming, right?
That should be here today, was the last I heard last week. But as far as the inspection, get the filters redone and back up operational. Y'all have already bought a lot of the parts. The remaining, we need a pump rebuild for $3,432. Y'all might have that quote.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
we
do.
have.
Okay. You also need to have the blowers repaired, the one blower, and one air compressor. Now, I didn't break that apart, but y'all got a quote on it, or you should,
Yeah, it's not.
that has it broke apart, but that's a total of $9,840-something.
Yeah.
Which compressors I thought we just got the stuff worked on.
Y'all bought one. And we have two.
Was it generators they were working on then?
Yeah.
Okay. I know there was something that was getting worked on, I couldn't remember what it was.
Generators.
I actually had AG just come out and actually put their hands on it, test everything. So that is a hard number, that number should change.
So that blower, is the big blower that sits out, the 2 gallons.
That's to redo that fire, that's,
It's a motor, VFD,
whoever that was that put it in, the company from Alabama or wherever, I don't know where they were from, back when I was here, I guess it's rigged.
That wire,
Yeah.
that wire conglomeration.
Yeah.
they lost a part of that pump and never put it back, our motor, I'm sorry. And I said, well, let's just try to find the part. Well, that's what you hear about, impossible. They're basically changing the motor and the drive. Like I said, the chlorine alarm and all that, we had somebody look at it. Like I said, I don't know what the, price is, but I know that it was only needing calibration, is the way I understand it, so that's gonna be fairly reasonable. The spray field, y'all know y'all just purchased, y'all may even have influence on that, it's about $11,000. Have that pump rebuilt, reinstalled.
That's one we talked about a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, they got it all put in, and I was afraid that the check valves were bad, and they are. So, you're gonna need to buy, because we have to show DP in that inspection that we did repair it, and really, everything's out there, but we can't run it like it's intended to run. And those, I just got the final quote this afternoon, right before I got here. The cheapest price I could get was $3,215 each, and that's with Jason putting them in. That does not include the bolt kit, the gaskets, and that's times two.
Say that again.
$3,215 times two. So,
So that's something that we don't have here in Fayetteville.
no,
I
I
didn't
got
have
that.
that one, yeah.
Literally, when I pulled up in the parking lot out here, the last quote, the other quote was a lot higher than that.
Okay, so I'm clear, all of these that you're giving us, the turbine repair, the blower, the air compressor, and the pump are all, and they have to be fixed because
And the check valve, really.
we failed inspection. So just out of these right here, without the other 3,000 whatever it was times two, we're back at, over $25,000.
And like I said, gaskets and bolts, I didn't have time to get that, but you're looking at about $300.
None of this is added into that you're working on to the sewer plant?
It isn't one of those, the mitigation grant we're working on, the problem's gonna be timing, I think, more than anything
Now
else.
it's timing because of the,
In 30 days, and that's gonna be a question asked in a minute, well, no, on December the 4th, y'all have to have a response to them,
Yeah.
giving them what you have done or what you plan on doing. I mean, do you have to have it all done by then? No, but you could say, it's gonna take 60 days or 30 days, more days, and we'll have all this done. Because we actually have to send them documentation from whoever fixes all of it. Photos and repair documentation.
And we're not gonna be there on your end.
As far as I know, you haven't even been approved yet, so you're probably at best 6 months, probably close to a year before that money.
So we're gonna have to spend the money and we're not gonna gain it back up through that.
Yeah, I I don't know that you can get reimbursed, I know you can't get reimbursed for it now because it's not even approved, so.
And I can't put a price on this, but Saturday, fellow that works for me, we ride by the spray field about every day. We don't go in unless we see an issue. He went by Saturday and ponds, birds started floating. His electrician, he went in there and he finally got the pump running, but that's what I'm saying. We only have one pump out there, so if something happens to it, it ain't gonna jump to the next one because everything's not fixed. And there may be an issue, but ever since Saturday, it's running great. So, just let you know why you need to. If we had the other pump up and running, possibly it would have picked up itself.
I do plan to contact Fred Fox tomorrow about the other 2 grants. And I'll ask him about the status of mitigation, see if he has a time frame that he can share with us. But I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath. But certainly worth asking.
Thank you, Mr. Ron.
I know I got bad news. That's,
You have any good news, Gene?
no, I'm not done now. You have to do an O&M manual for your collection system. Y'all had one at one time, because I done it 30 years ago. I do not know where it's at.
So what was that again, Jimmy?
An O&M manual
Yeah.
for your collection system. That includes
Yeah.
basically lift stations, manholes, whatever. But Jason is still collecting information for me, but as soon as he gets it done, we may have to ask for a little bit of an extension on that, but I'll try to have it done on the first of December, because that'll take that off the plate. And we need a chlorine fan that was in that inspection at the wastewater plant, and Jason is taking care of that. But I suggest you put a chlorine fan at well, pretty way to do it, it's about too low.
So, how long do we have to have these things fixed?
Y'all need to write a letter before December the 4th, telling them of each itemized thing that's written on. What your plan is it repaired? Do you have plans to repair? If we do, when is it gonna be repaired? Basically, hey, these check valves, sprinkler pump's not operating, but, it's gonna be 60 days out. But understand, like these check valves, I mean, you gotta add this in too, some of this got 10, 12 week leak on them. I think your check valves are like 8 to 10. But that's how you handle that. I mean, it's not, you're supposed to send them a letter on this particular day, but.
On the 4th?
Before the 4th.
Before the 4th, okay. So we have a regular meeting on the 21st.
I'd much rather y'all write the letter. I'll just give you what you need to put in the body, but if you want me to write it, I'll do it, but I gotta have it ready.
Michelle, do you have anything?
We're talking about
Yeah, say 10 weeks of spray on them, check valves.
Once they're ordered?
Do we need to get Jimmy to give the Candace, make sure he's got every item covered, make sure it's on the agenda for the next meeting?
No, I've got it covered. I'll send you all this
Okay.
in the morning or something. Like I said, I was trying to get more prices because them check valves, my husband was over 4,000 a piece. I was trying to find the lowest one it should be.
Okay, are you expecting any more emergencies between now and the meeting?
I can't promise you that.
Well, what I'm saying is that, is something limping that, what I'm saying is we've had a lot of emergencies down there lately and a lot of expense, and we can't continue to just emergency purchase if we don't know we've got it.
Listen, as I find these things out, y'all are the first in that.
I don't think they've done a thing down there that wouldn't have been under this consent order. You wouldn't have got fined for it. I mean,
No, I understand that, Gary, but I'm just saying, you know,
I mean, we've been messing with the filter for quite some time now. But it seems like every time we start to put it back together, something else fails. And I'm not gonna tell you that when we fire it up, something else don't fall off.
well, I understand that, but we're talking like, what, close to 40 grand last month, and we're looking, you know,
All this
pushing
money.
30 again this month, and.
You can say 50 last month.
But just like the lift station
So-
folks, you know, there's, maybe not y'all, but the other council, neither one of them had been out for months.
Listen, as far back as I can remember, there's been Band-Aids put on that plant down there. I get it, but what
Even
I'm
when it
saying
was
is,
new.
yeah, I mean,
Listen, right now, yeah, I'll tell you what needs to happen. Spray heads at spray field, they need to be evaluated and replaced. Lazy Bone lift station, I think needs one more pump. It's a little over $6,000.
that's in the grant, Gary. That's 201 or 177-1.
That's,
We're waiting on parts.
I've already bought one.
Yeah, that's the one.
And that
That's
money's
that's
waiting.
$3,000,
Yeah.
right? Got it right. You talking about the?
No, I'm talking about the $6,000 something on the lift station at
That's that
Lazy
FEMA stuff?
Bone.
That's the one I said.
I got what we're gonna get right here.
We were approved for,
Is it up there though?
Traverse Mill Station, you get $4,118 from them. On that Hurricane Sally stuff.
Is that on 201 or 177?
I don't have it on, I have to go back and look. This is the only one that's got that. We just got this week.
I think the belt press will be fixed with that money. I really do. But I'm telling you now, like I say, I've seen the spray heads and there's several of them that are not operating correctly.
How much is a spray head?
I have no idea, I've never ordered one.
don't know, the one place we usually get them from don't have them. Just trying,
And I don't use the
trying
same
to,
kind.
trying to find stuff, the old stuff, they don't make no more, so you have to go to upgraded. That's the
Y'all
problem.
understand your spray heads are plastic out there, they always have been, so they don't hold up.
They're just a little plastic.
I understand, I know that there's a lot of money that needs to be put into the plan, I'm not arguing that, I'm just arguing the fact that the city of Vernon doesn't have it
Yeah.
to put in like this every month, and so my suggestion would be if something breaks between now and a meeting, that you contact city and let's call a special meeting, because
I'll do anything y'all want.
with, that's just my opinion, I'm one council member, I don't wanna see us in a situation
I don't have an issue with that at all.
worse than what we're gonna be in, you know what I'm saying, for the money that we're spending. I mean, if we have a major, and we've had a major issue before, and we had to do the emergency spending and then discuss it in a meeting, but I'm saying we can't, we're at a point now to where we really
Well,
don't
I
have to
was-
take it one.
I was blindsided about the belt press. I just got the call one morning and said, listen, are y'all gonna buy it? Waiting on a meeting. You know, they got another day or it's going overseas and it's 3 to 6 months to get another one. It's the only reason I called y'all.
See, it was working, and just, when we shut it down every day and boot it back up, it just wouldn't boot it back up, it's all computerized.
Well, and council needs to keep in mind too, that these other 3 quotes here that have not been ordered yet, that they're directly involved with the DEP inspection, and so that money we're gonna have to spend, so we're gonna have to look really, really close at the other expenditures until we can get this paid
Well,
for.
really, your most expensive thing is what you've got to do.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the,
There's the nickels and dimes that are breaking us.
and when's the next meeting?
21st.
The 21st.
Well, just, like I say, you know, I know y'all have to meet. for like the blowers and air compressors and the pump for the filter, and maybe even check valves. So, you gonna put stuff in the pump, because I won't ask them to do it, until y'all approve it.
No, but we have to approve in a meeting.
Yeah, I didn't expect y'all to approve it, that's what y'all understand. I went through it, that's what I garnered from it, that needed to be fixed.
It'd been a lot easier on me if you would just write in big letters everything down there and give us a real, the total price on all of it, because I don't think at this point it hurt my feelings any more than what's going on now.
No.
Just like the reject system and SCADA system down there, that's in that grant. They think about these things. You're talking big to replace that stuff. They never mentioned it. And they were pretty easy about the filters. I just know that we need to get to it.
So we're not in a position that we're being fined or anything, we're just, they're saying.
None of these are gonna be fined
Okay.
unless you don't do it. I'm not telling you gotta approve it all at one time, but you gotta let DEP know it's gonna be however long and make sure they're good with it.
Okay, well, is this something that can stand till our next meeting, or?
Yeah.
So we don't need to call a special meeting? Okay. All right, so you covered 4 quotes for the plant repairs, you covered the inspection. Is there
So when it
anything-
may, the only other thing is, like I said, he's getting an exhaust fan for chlorine rim at the plant, that was on the report. That shouldn't be over, I'm gonna say $500, I think it's gonna be quite a bit less than that. Why are you ordering the one at well 3? God. I'm telling you now, that if you get inspected, it will be. And the ARV up there at well 3 is back. It needs to be replaced, it's below $600.
And just so you know, some bad news, 2 weeks, this quote ain't no good.
Which one?
This $9,000,
Because it expires in 24.
30 days. The quote's only valid.
I
for 30
believe
days.
if y'all would, he's easy to work with.
Okay.
Now, if you drag it out 2 months, maybe not, but, some of the work that you've had done that you're paying for now, you did last month, the quote was out, and I was able to talk to him, and we got it done. He just don't want to stretch it out and then lose so much money.
Several of the invoices that I paid were from June, July.
And if we're buying, like the check valve quotes, them people, their prices change weekly. I'm not gonna say if we wait 2 months to order them, they're gonna be a few $100 more. I bought a pump 3 months ago, and that same pump cost me $90 more today.
Okay, well, is that all the news you have for us?
Unless you want something else, I
No,
got
no, thank you.
I'll get you, what quote you want, got, I'll either drop them by or I'll email them.
Thank you. Number 6, FDFG programs, application deadline January 2023.
I put these 2 in there. One is for TRIP, one is for the, set aside. They just came out Friday, or anyway, last week, maybe Monday. And the deadline to apply is January, so I wanted y'all to look at them. I wanted Mr. Gary to have them to look at them, see if there was something that you were interested in doing. This is part of the, I went over last Monday at a Crestview to a meeting, and what they're doing is a pilot program where all the counties in the region come together, put forth their top projects for roads, lighting on the roads, and the trails, that kind of thing. and then they're all have a number system to point system. And so this is something they talked about there. The DOT was there. They're working in conjunction with DOT. I know Trey's working on, he had submitted some things that will benefit not the city of Vernon, but the community, you know. So I just wanted y'all to have that information.
Okay, and Candace, when I was talking to you about it the other day, you said that, in one of these, correct me if I'm wrong, you said Church Street and.
Well, those were not entered, and I reached out but didn't hear back. So this time, this funding, they would not be. But there's areas like paving Holmes Valley Road, the portion of Holmes Valley Road, because so the ambulances can go and things like that. There's in our direct community, not in the city, but in our direct community, there's several things that would benefit.
Okay, so what you were talking about the
I only
road
had the
connection
2 day,
to-
yeah, so if they're auxiliary, so say, School Mill Road comes out on 79, it would have gotten 1 point because it connects to 79. So the point system kind of works that way, but it's something that we could look at for the
next time.
for the next time.
Okay.
This is not the stop.
No,
No. This is new.
Yeah.
This is what she went, to the meeting about.
When does Scott come out? Do you know?
I'm not. I want to say it's spring because when we first applied for that on Yellow Jacket Drive, I think it was right around election time for city council members. And these are this is actually different than what I went for the other day.
Okay.
So, but everybody on that task advisory committee gets to comment gets to grade it for the projects that are gonna happen.
Thank you, and I appreciate you going. I know we all do.
Oh, yeah. They probably didn't because I was coughing a lot.
Does anybody else have anything on that?
I'll do some research on it.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Number 7, Public Works updates. Jason, don't come up here with no bad news. I don't want to hear it.
I ain't got no bad news. The camp y'all want me to check on is in my price range, so it's less than, it was $600. So, I mean, I can go ahead and get it.
The what was it?
The tank, y'all want me to check on?
How much is it?
And then the pipe for Circle H is in. I done talked to him, and then I have to rent a trencher. It's less than 500 to rent. So, and that's it. He's done. I guess that's all good news.
Good.
How about that?
Thank you.
Now, what's the bad news?
Don't even ask me.
That's it.
Does anybody have anything for Jason? Number 8, recreation updates, Mr. Garner.
Football season and cheer's over. Football made it to the first round of the playoffs. Was not anticipated by the league, so we surprised them there. Our cheer girls this last week went over and competed in their cheer competition and did great. They didn't place, but we were there and the league was surprised and happy to see us.
That's great news.
It was a great season. We are starting the conversation about the banquet now. We're looking at the potential at competing in one of what they call the big Brickyard Classic, which is kind of our leagues all get together and do more of almost like a travel ball option competition after the season's over, and then we can kind of join forces with some of the other leagues to make a better team to allow the kids to have the ones that care enough to play a little bit more. So we're looking at that within the next couple of weeks. Cheer basketball is pretty much wrapped up. We've got the sizing kit, so they got a couple more days to sign up, but we're sitting at 20 right now, which is up from our football season.
20 cheerleaders?
Yes, ma'am. Basketball will stay open until the end of the month.
Well, that's good news. Congratulations to the football team and the cheer squad.
We are going to be grinding out in two fronts over the next month, the Sportsplex and the old gym. Our goal is to be in the old gym for the basketball season this year. We ran into no food and can't use the bleachers last year at the middle school, and that basically made it where we lost about $800 a week because we didn't charge entry and we couldn't sell concessions. So we're trying our best to get in that gym as fast as we can. The light guys that I told you all the good news that they got the light fixtures, I haven't heard back from him. I've called him, it's been about 3-4 weeks now. Called him every single week straight and haven't heard back from him, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. I've went other avenues to try to get up with him to see what's going on there. So that's going to be our biggest push on whether or not we can get in there. Pretty positive. Talking to somebody who works there, they've got the lights. The electrician themselves that were going to install them has been COVID and just been behind because of sickness. So I think that's why he's not answering. That's all we have.
Does anybody have anything for Timothy? Thank you, Timothy. Number 9, fire department updates, Shaq.
He didn't have anything, he did turn in his quarterly report, and part of the workers' comp audit required the list of volunteer fire department, so, we sent that in. I have a couple of questions for y'all though that when it's a good time, that aren't related to the fire department.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, I put it out there for everybody to look at, and since Tim's here, it's a good time to ask about it. And I only realized it because I get an email invoice. So I called about it because it says do not pay. This is an automatic transaction.
Yeah.
And so the Tech Eagles is now at $736.83 per month. That's coming out of ACH automatically. It's not a check that we're signing. It started in February of 21 at $474.51 a month.
Yep.
The reason it went, you'll see in January of 22, it went to $618.51. And the reason it jumped the other $150 is for the firewall and firehouse updates that were done about a month and a half ago. And Tim knows about that, I don't. So the difference from what you started with a year and a half ago is $289.35 a month more. That's probably not budgeted, I'm not sure, but just wanted y'all to be aware.
Will you talk to, Lee about that? I know, we discussed it when we finalized the budget with him that we were gonna have to amend the budget, so.
Okay.
Note that to him.
Just so the only increase that I'm aware of is that Shaq did add his computer and his firewall, and it was my understanding was that he was willing to accept that into his budget. Was the only thing that any other increases I'm not familiar with. I don't mess with the accounting side of it. I'm not the tech side of it. But.
So the difference from the $618.51 to the $763.86 will come from the fire department. Okay.
Is that all you had, Candace?
Well, I filed a claim for the generator here at the city hall that the tech said was burnt. It had burn damage on it. I'm waiting to hear back. We've been going back and forth today. I've got to have an affidavit from the technician saying that it's lightning damage, which he said in his invoice, that's typed into the invoice, that it was burnt. But it has to be notarized, so he had to go to his company and ask, was he allowed to do that since it was notarized? If he can't do it, we'll have Jason take the pictures and inspect it and send it in as the Public Works Director. And then the last thing is, I hate to ask for me, but Miss Vicki and I wanted to know, because for when we do payroll, do we get paid for this holiday coming since we just started? Because I have to let Garrett know when we do payroll.
Does it have we
She's good at,
discussed.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't, whenever you start, I guess, you know, your holidays start.
And the last thing is, when Mr. Gary became mayor again, and also Rose, they both started in May, and FRS was not taken out for their side, so when I filed with the FRS this first time, we're gonna have a penalty too, because it was due before I started. I am gonna request the penalty to be waived, but I haven't gotten the invoice for that yet to request it. So I had to go back to May and pay that, and I don't think it's fair to ask, like Rose, to come back and pay her portion from May when it should have been done as a payroll.
Not a lot.
Okay.
How much is it? Not a
No,
lot.
and Gary's either, but I'm just saying, it'll be maybe a few just a couple $100, but
It's not a lot.
I just didn't think that was fair
No.
to her.
You're right.
But since I paid it, I wanted to let y'all know what was
Thank
going on.
you.
Okay. And that's all I had.
That's all you have?
Mhm.
Really,
Okay,
I'm sorry, really quick, I wanted to touch on the firewall you reminded me. Whenever I went in there and put that firewall in place, I called the internet service provider, Mediacom. And when they come out, the reason it wasn't working is somebody disconnected it at the pole. So all those months it wasn't working, somebody disconnected it from the pole. So I don't know if that's something you can lean on to get a reimbursement for. I don't know how long it's been disabled, or if we can find somebody to figure out how long it was disabled
In the computer room,
at the fire department.
at the fire department, okay.
The way cable works is it goes up aerial and goes out to the fire, to the pole. He said it was up on the pole. So it had to have been a Mediacom guy or somebody working on the lines to do it. And Shaq, you could probably go back when he ordered the little wireless access points for internet. That's probably when he started, because he didn't have no internet. That's why he got those.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's probably been more than a year. That's a lot of internet being paid for to know.
So he hadn't had internet?
Yeah. That was one of the reasons it kind of started the discussion with him, is because
So
he
the
was
bill
paying
was
for a
still
wireless
being
access
paid,
point.
I believe.
Okay.
Alright, number 10 is council, my updates, and I would like to request for it to be put on the agenda for the next regular meeting that, Ms. Ms. Vicky be permanently placed in their positions, be permanently placed in their positions. If council doesn't have an issue with that. So, if nobody has an issue with it, Candace, will you put that on the agenda? Also, the city, myself, the clerk, I believe the mayor, we received an email from Garrett Steverson. Apparently, it looks like an employee that we have that resigned, it's been drawing unemployment. And because of that, there is an invoice that they're requesting to be paid that is over $3,000.
And another one came in, Friday for 3 something.
Now, when that employee resigned and it was filed on, the city had, the clerk at that time and the attorney agreed that it would be, the resignation would be uploaded to unemployment. And so I'm assuming, and I think everybody else assumed, that she was gonna be denied because she resigned. And so we disputed the claim. I'm not sure where it's at.
It's up in, we got a letter, like I said, Friday, and it is under review.
Okay.
And of course, it's up to them if they.
Did they receive, you know, if they got everything that they needed from us?
As far as I know, I just got the letter that said we had disputed the claim and everything was being processed for review. I can send you that.
Okay. Candace, I know I've talked to you on Friday and today. Am I missing something that I was gonna If I am, remind me.
You think I will?
The sewer plant is swimming in my head.
I don't know of anything else that I can think of.
Let me check on
If
that.
y'all look at my desk, y'all will know why.
Oh, okay, one more thing. We all agreed during, budget time about the Washington County SO cameras. It
Yeah.
came to my attention in the middle of the night that I needed to ask Candace about it. She is contacted them and she's going to contact them tomorrow to see if they received the check. I know that we approved it, I know that we voted on it, and I remember we discussed that it be sent, but we're not sure if that happened or not, so she's checking on that to see.
I can't find it on
that
the
sheriff
accounting yet.
gets
The
the
check
money for
where?
the cameras.
To the sheriff, to get those
For the two
cameras.
cameras?
Yes.
According to him the other day, he didn't know nothing about it. And that was about 2 weeks ago now.
So they didn't get it.
So they didn't get it, because this, if it would've went out, it would've went out before Candace came in. So, Candace said,
Okay, I'll find out tomorrow what I need.
so, but now we've already voted on that and everything, so if she does a check, we should, can sign it and go ahead and send it on, Michelle. For the cameras for the sheriff's department, we budgeted it, we voted on it, we, approved it. And news headlines yesterday reminded me of the middle of the night.
Yeah, we was talking about it.
All right, I think that's all that I have. Mr. Gary asked to be added to number 12.
I'll be sure.
I'm skipping 11 because we signed the
Number
check.
12.
Go ahead.
You got something else?
No. Oh, you just got something to say.
Letter's been sent to DOT regarding the red light. Talked to Mr. Harris, he's coming from Fort Walton one day this week, he'll call me when he gets here. I'll meet him out wherever he wants to meet. I'll listen to him and bring back whatever he says to the council. Been in contact with the general manager from Dollar Tree. They're gonna look at the fence and they'll call me back this week also. We got the letter from DEP saying we can use the old retention ponds to put the dirt in. We sent the letter to the county, so they would have it on their file. The county has agreed to haul it, and it's gonna be Jason with it, have to work with, Johnny, to get all that worked out,
It's going over here?
back behind the sewer yard and retention ponds.
Okay, I thought we were talking about, okay.
Had a citizen call complaining about his guy Adams parking in the street, he couldn't hardly get in his drive. I went and looked at it, there's 3 vehicles parked there, and they couldn't hardly get in their drive. So I called the sheriff, he sent a deputy down, and Mr. Adams moved one, said as soon as he got the other 2 running, he would move them. On what's the name of that street? McFadden Street. That's not the first time we've had to do that, in parking this road.
I think
It's not
John.
McFadden Street,
Is it
it's
John?
Yeah. Michelle Cross has sent a couple emails up here concerning that
Rebate check.
rebate check, and the council agreed that we didn't owe her any money to give rebate. Correct?
We discussed it, and it was my understanding that, and Jason and Chad was here that night,
Right.
and they also had paid in on the insurance, and the total amount was just a little over $400.
407.
And Chad and Jason both said that they didn't care, and council said, because I believe that the attorney said it wasn't something that we had to pay back, we all agreed to just not pay it back.
We didn't have any documentation to support what went to.
So I'm gonna send her an email stating that the council has stated she will be getting no refund check for that.
Also, Miss Michelle, it's my understanding that she also tapped a 10%, late fee or something for her not getting her money.
I mean, she's harassing your clerk.
Yeah.
And that's the nicest way I can put it. I don't know where she's getting this, that she's entitled to 10% interest on this.
Me either.
We don't have any documentation to support what amount she's owed, if she's owed anything at all. I don't.
So,
What's the best
me to say for our mayor when he responds to her an email for him to request that she stop harassing our clerk?
Right, that's fine. She also needs to submit whatever documentation that she has to support that she's even entitled to anything.
She has a letter, Blue Cross and Blue Shield sent letters out to the employees that were covered on that year. Did you get one, Jason?
Yeah, I got one, I threw it away.
She's not, I'm fine. I'm just saying, it does take a lot of time when you get emails.
It needs to stop.
If it was a lot of money, yeah, I'm all for it, but.
Well, and not only that, but if we give her that back, then we have to pay Candace also to go back and see who else we've got to split that $400 up with, because it's not just those two.
It's just $400 between everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought
Between
that's
all
what
of the paid in.
It is, it was a check for $400.
I think we're gonna be out more money if we work together. rather than-
470.
So you all will get $1 a piece?
You can have mine, Mr. Lynn. I'll donate mine to you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Chad, you said you had something?
Yeah, I got two things.
Okay.
Just quick, go ahead, Chad.
Lights on the sidewalks. I have had more people complain about that than I have anything else in the city. There were lights whenever they come through and tore everything down.
They're still there.
They need to be fixed.
They're not on the sidewalk no more, there's one.
Well, there was lights on both sides of the road.
Are you talking about the decorative lights or the,
I'm not
or the
necessarily-
light pole lights?
Light pole lights.
lights
The ones that come
They
on.
are, it's dark. I see
Yeah,
them.
Yeah, yes.
They don't, somebody's gonna get hurt. There's more and more people starting to walk
Yeah.
up and down the sidewalks and stuff. Need to get it fixed. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think they put any more up.
Jason,
When they did all that.
ordinance, city facial.
When they moved all that.
so,
We mean, you know.
when they took them down, they need to replace them.
What's the city need to do, Jason? All you gotta do is go from light pole to light pole
Get the numbers.
and get a number. Cause me and Miss Gwen have been put up, the city pays for a light. A lot of people don't know that. The city will put up, that's why I got two. One in the yard and one on the light pole at the road. City pays for one of them and I pay for the other. And, but all you got to do is put a work over in, go to them poles, get the numbers, and, the poles that don't have lights, and, the city turn them into
And
candles.
they'll come out.
And they'll come put them up.
The decorative lights that were damaged, that's on DOT as well. We've discussed that before.
Well, they're off the road now. They're, where they put that new sidewalk at. with the
They're on the
one-
other side of the
they're still
sidewalk
there,
Now they're
but they just
responsible
don't
for
work
putting them
no more.
back since they
But
took them down.
are they on people property now?
They're
In a
still on
way.
the right of way,
Yeah.
but.
They're so far back.
That's what I'm saying, they're
Sidewalk.
on people property now.
Yeah, so them lights are just sitting there in the middle of nowhere, really.
They're not being used.
And I don't
They
think
take
they're
those
even
down,
hooked up
get
anymore.
the big ones put
It is.
on poles.
Well, I like Chad, maybe we need to take them up, put the street lights on both sides.
Yeah.
Down through there.
They'll do
Well,
the LED ones.
There's no street light there because of those lights. They do better.
Just get those numbers up, like Joey said, get the numbers off of them poles, send them in. Let's get Vernon lit up.
There's like 3 from the bottom of the hill to my house that are out.
They're out on every road in town, I think. There's at least one out.
I'll ride around with you one night.
That's all you gotta do, ride around, and the ones that's out, you ride them down. If you only have one, it's like that, I'm just saying.
When you
Yeah.
walk under the one at the Old Tom Thumb in the morning, it goes out. It's on until you walk under it, and then it goes out.
It's
That's that
motion.
halo shining.
It's a
So it's
motion.
obviously the opposite of whatever it's supposed to be doing.
Oh, God.
Chad, do you have anything else?
Well, you walk. I thought when you walk under, it's supposed to come on.
Somewhere to cover it.
It's supposed to come on when you walk underneath.
You notice it when you turn.
Yeah, because it shines, the tree is like pink and purple, the
It is.
cedar
It
is
is
purple.
purple.
I thought they had put one of those.
Library. I know it's scary
The
looking.
first thing you look
And it's that purple light at the library.
notice that
I thought that they had put one of those lights at the bottom shining up on that when I came by. That's what it looked like. 'Cause it just
It's
glowed.
purple. And the whole parking lot has a tint to it, like a purple tint.
Yeah. Joey, you said you had a couple
One
of
thing
things.
I appreciate this wind, I know this wind had something to do with it, but y'all have noticed DOT moved the right of way at my house in this wind. Also, they did turn the tractor over, and they did mow it. The guy did turn it over, flipped it right outside of Miss Wynn's house in that ditch. But it is mowed, it looks 100% better, he mowed the whole thing. One other thing, and y'all, some of y'all know him, but y'all keep the Kirkland family in your prayers, thoughts and prayers. Mike got hit and run last time at Home Valley.
That was him?
Yeah. Mike worked with us for 15 years. So it's right below the spray field what happened there. So
I believe he's the father of Miss
His daughter-
Anna, that
his daughter-
works at Mike and Anna's down at
yeah,
79
that's his daughter.
Dawkins.
That runs that. So y'all keep him in your prayers.
I saw that on the news, and I was wondering who the person was.
I have
They
one
didn't
more
call the
thing,
name.
and I forgot about this, and I thought Chad was gonna be here. I'm just gonna ask, Candace, did you get a phone call or a message over the weekend about a cat issue in town on Pinecrest Street? Jason, have you talked to Chad? I spoke with a, citizen who said that she had messaged Chad over the weekend about a neighbor's cat that was, injured, that would not leave her property. She spoke to the neighbor about it.
He said something about it, but I don't know what he's done.
Okay, well, he explained to her that there wasn't a lot that he could do and gave her animal control's number. I'm assuming maybe because he knows the laws better than
Yeah.
we do on what he can and can't do. But he told her that there wasn't a lot she could do. Animal control, I guess, didn't respond. But she sent me a picture of this wounded animal that,
I know you're talking about.
yeah, and so I don't know what the issues are there. I just wanted to ask and let somebody know that I had said something about it because
I'm gonna talk to him and see what.
she's wanting it removed, but apparently, under the circumstances, maybe Chad's not getting involved for a reason, or it's beyond what he can do. I know he said
I
that
think 'cause
track,
it was
but,
the weekend.
yeah,
But I'll find out, Fred. I won't
Okay.
tell you something that it'd be wrong.
yeah, no, that's why, I knew that there was a reason that he couldn't do anything about it. I just wanted to check and see, and I was gonna ask him about it if he was here. All right, does anybody else have anything?
I do real quick. I'm sorry. We got two things. I forgot one thing. I called him. He said it was okay. I told him that he wasn't going to get his pay. He said that was fine. He said, thank you. He said he'll give me the phone and the keys. So that's taken care of. Second thing is, I forgot Sasser Street. I got that road closed. I don't know how to fix this. The culvert pipe the whole road is undermined.
Which road?
It's Sasser, behind the plant.
Had no big culvert?
That humongous,
Yeah.
it's bad. I mean, like, past my expertise. The water runs down halfway down the culvert, goes underneath the culvert, and the whole road is all undermined.
Is it dry
I don't
there
know
now?
what, I got the road shut down, so I'm gonna go down there, but I don't know.
Well, the dirt's not going anywhere for a little while.
No, is the
I mean,
road?
there was a hole on top there, I filled up.
I saw
just
that
thought- I thought maybe it was, just a washout, and every time you fill up, it would wash away. So we finally, it was low enough, I was able to get down it, walk down in there, and you can look underneath the culvert and see 20 yards both ways. So I just shut it down for now. I mean, that road is, we don't use it anyway, but the water tower, so I gotta play you see the sign. But I don't know what to do right now. I figure I'd let y'all know. But that culvert's I think it's a 6-foot culvert, easily. But that way at least you know, until I can figure something else.
Can I have a motion to adjourn before plans? Bad news.
I'm trying to think,
Executive discussion, all in favor? Aye.
that's a bad thing.
I know, she can't handle